With part 1 open, the first thing we need to do is flatten the last. Select the flattening icon from the left-hand side of the screen. All of these settings are fine for this tutorial, so simply select OK. This is the flattened view of the last, but for adding the design lines we do need the last, so simply toggle this window to shoe modelling. Right, now we can begin adding the design lines. Select the star line icon from the top of the screen. We are going to use an Illustrator file to apply our style lines, so open the stencil toolbar and then open Object, Image or File. Open the design lines and then change the file type to AI file as curves and then select Open. Make sure the right view is turned on and then we can begin toggling our design lines to the right shape using the toolbar at the top of the window to change the position and size of the stencil. Once in an accurate position, select the wrap tool and the lines have wrapped to the last. We can now edit these lines. We can select the lines and delete them. To do this we first need to exit the stencil toolbar mode, so simply select the stencil toolbar again and then we can begin to edit. We can select lines and then delete them and then select others and use the points to extend and position them. Once all of the design lines are in the correct position, select them all and then use the unlinked mirror icon to transfer them to the inside of the last. Some of the lines are unnecessary, so select those and delete them. For the heart shape we're going to use a separate stencil, so select these and delete those also, and then go back into the stencil toolbar. Open Image, Object or File, change the file type to JPEG, and then select the design lines for VAMP. Select Open, then go back to the top view. We can now toggle the stencil into the correct position using the toolbar. Wrap when in the position, and then we can use the stencil to trace the lines. Once the heart is complete, the stencil is no longer of use, so we can just go back into the stencil toolbar and delete it. At this point we can also create the sock, so simply select the sketch style line icon from the left hand side. Toggle the view round to the last bottom, hold Alt, and then we can draw on the last. Hold the last point over the first and a small grey circle appears. Select that and the design line will be one complete circle. Right click to exit the mode and then we can simply edit the line. And that's the star lines complete. With the design lines complete, we can now begin creating the panel pieces. To do this, first select the piece icon from the top of the screen. As you can see, some of the panels have already been created. We are first going to create the lining. To do this, select the Create Shoe Piece icon from the left hand side. We are going to trace the boundary of the lining following these lines. We are then going to create the lining on the outside of the shoe in the same way. Right-click to exit the Create Shoe Piece mode, and then we can edit the lining. Double-click the first piece, and a new dialog box will appear. Set the offset as 0 and the thickness as 1, and then select OK. Do the same for the lining on the inside. And then we can change the materials. Open the materials library and then use the materials from the current model section. We're going to set the outer face to the light pink colour, and then leave the inner face and edge face as they are. Do the same for the other set of lining, and then right click. We can now create the last panels. To do this, again use the Create Shoe Piece mode, and then trace around the boundary of the last panel. Once complete, we need to change the offset and thickness. To do this, we'll select the existing panel, then select the Paste Attributes button from the top of the screen, make sure all of the attributes are turned on, and then select the corresponding panel. Right-click to exit the mode, and we can now create the padding at the top of the back of the shoe. Again, select the Create Shoe Piece mode, and then trace around the back of the shoe. Right-click to exit the mode, and we can now create the padding. Select the new panel, and then select the padding icon from the left-hand side. We will leave the offset as it is, but decrease the thickness to 2. Then click the panel, and right-click to exit the mode, and the padding is created. We just need to change the upper material, and just drag on the darker purple material. We are now going to create the reverse applique style heart at the front of the shoe. To do this, select the Create Shoe Piece icon from the left-hand side. We are going to create a panel from the heart by selecting the design lines. Right-click to exit the mode, and then select the panel at the front of the shoe. Select the Append or Remove Regions of Shoe Piece icon from the left-hand side, and then select the heart. Right-click, and this has removed the heart from the vamp. We are going to use the lining and then change the material to the pattern, and again with the other side. With the panels finished, we are just going to create some edge treatments. To do this, select the vamp panel and then the edge treatment icon from the left hand side. Select this area of the vamp and then create a folded edge. Right click and the treatment is applied. We'll also apply folded edges to the counter of the shoe. Again, select the edge treatment, these edges, and then the folded edge. Right click to exit the mode, and then do the inside. Right click. At this point we can also create the sock. Simply select the Create Shoe Piece icon from the left hand side, and then select the design line drawn on the bottom of the last. This will instantly create the sock. We can then double click the sock and use the dialog box to edit. Set the offset as 0 and the thickness as 0.5, and then select OK. For the materials, change the upper to dark, the edge treatment to the lighter, and then the inner to the dark. And the panels are now complete. With the panels complete, the first thing we need to do is morph the strap so it sits over the top of the other panel. To do this, first select the panel with the strap. Then we're going to use the advanced mode, so select the advanced power option mode at the bottom of the screen. Select the morph items icon from the left hand side, and then use the point option from the dialog box. In From, select this area of the strap, and then a large orb will appear. There are 2 dots, and with the red dot simply drag it towards the last. Once in position, select OK, and the strap now sits over the other side. We also need to do this with the lining. Select the lining and then select Active, and then we can morph this object. Go back into the point section and then select the same area of the strap. Again, use the points to position the strap. Once in the correct position, select OK, and both the lining and the upper are morphed over the top of the other panel. We can then select the Accept Changes from the top of the screen, and this exits the power option mode. We can now apply the stitching to the model. Select the stitch icon from the top of the screen, and as you can see, some of the stitching has already been applied. The stitching can be applied in various ways. For this tutorial we are going to use the Create Edge Stitching icon from the left hand side. Select the first panel, and then this edge, and then select the Create Edge Stitch icon. Right click to exit the mode, and the stitching has been created. We now need to do this for the rest of the panels, selecting Create Edge Stitch, these 3 edges, and then Create Edge Stitch. Again, right click to exit the mode, and then Create Edge Stitch, including this edge here. To create the stitching around the heart, we can simply use the Create Stitches icon from the left hand side, and draw the stitches around. Right click to end the line, and then we can just simply edit it. Select and use the points. Once edited, we can change the colour and style of the stitches. To do this, we're going to use the Paste Attributes button. So simply select the first pre-drawn stitches and then use the Paste Attributes. Make sure all of the attributes are turned on and then select each of the lines. Hover over the lines until they're grey and then click on them. Right click to exit the mode and the stitching is complete. With the upper mostly complete, we just need to add a buckle to finish the shoe. To do this, open the accessories icon from the top of the screen. We then need to go into the accessories library and then the buckle section, and then choose a buckle. Select the U buckle, double click, and then position it on the strap. Right click to exit the mode, then we can select the buckle and then edit it. There are scroll bars on the left hand side, and these can be used to reset the orientation and the size. Hover over these bars and decrease the size with the mouse. Also change the orientation to sit with the strap. You can also use the Select Accessories to Align tool, use the Transform Object, and then we can rotate and move the buckle. Once in position, select OK, then right click, and the buckle is placed. We now need to place a trim over the buckle to hold the strap in place. Select the Import Data file from the top of the screen, and then the Import Upper Elements icon from the left hand side. Select the trim, and then open. The trim will open at the base of the heel of the shoe, and we just need to align the accessory. Right click and then select the accessory again, and then use the Align tool. Turn the pieces off at the top of the screen, and then select this area of the trim, turn the pieces back on, and then select this area of the strap. Select OK to confirm the move, and then we can begin to align the trim. Again, use the Select Accessory to Align tool, and then Transform Object. Can use the various different sliding bars just to slightly move the object, and then select OK when the position is perfect. We can now change the colour of the accessory. Simply open the Materials library, select both of the accessories by holding the Shift key down, and then select the dark purple colour. We can now add punches to the design. Simply select the punch icon from the top of the screen and then the Create Punch icon from the left-hand side. Make sure the accessories are still turned on so you can see them as you draw the punches. Draw a line through the accessory on the strap. Right-click to end the line, and then simply select it and edit the points. We now need to blank these panels. Simply hold the Shift button down and then select the blank selected on the left-hand side. And then do the same with the lining. We can then select the punches and then select the Create Punch Through All Materials icon. Once the punches are created, we can unblank the panels, right click, and the upper is now complete. We just need to add a sole unit. To create the sole unit, select the sole icon from the top of the screen and then the insole icon from the left hand side. The insole will be immediately added to the design, stretching the panels over it. We are going to use a custom sole, so select the Import Data File icon from the top of the screen and then the Import Sole icon from the left hand side. Select the Girls Sole DGK file and then select Open. This is the new sole. Go back into the sole area by clicking the sole icon at the top of the screen and then select the Align Sole icon from the left hand side. The sole just needs to be moved down a touch, so select Transform Object, Move, and then Height, just minus by about 2, and then select OK. We can now add colours to the sole. To do this, simply select an area and then select the colour or drag the colour onto the sole. Use the lighter colours and the darker purples. Make sure all of the sole is coloured, including the pieces at the edge. You can always turn off the panels and the last to make sure you get all the edges. Colour the insole to match. And the shoe is now complete.